Hi, this is the Daily Spark Day 87 question, and it says, what becomes less solid when I stop dividing experience into categories? What becomes less solid when I stop dividing experience into categories? Well, and maybe it's because I'm doing these on the same day because it's been a busy week and I'm kind of catching up to the day's question, but it kind of reminds me of the last couple. These do have a way of like flowing into each other, but it's when I was talking in the last one or two about the human way we love to pin things down, black and white thinking, this or that, this not that, where we don't allow things to blend so much. It's reflected in every aspect of our culture. The way there are silos of information in education, the way we have different subject matters that are like history, art, science. Only now I'm really hopeful for the future, and this isn't about that, this video, but about how there are finally people. People have been crossbreeding information forever, but it's finally gaining validity to the powers that be who decide things in these big organizations to say, yeah, let's create a class that blends a few of these things and teach the next generation of folks that it's okay to crossbreed. We don't have to be siloed in our thinking. And I think it's all happened just because it's like, how do we parse this out so that it's digestible, so that it makes sense? And it's just the old way of thinking, and things are evolving to be more blended, crossbred. And I love that so much. It should have happened much sooner, but it's happening. And it takes people that step out of the comfort zone to say, hey, I'm curious about a lot of things. I am a multi-passionate human. There's going to be a lot more videos on that because like this time of like, I do one thing and I do it well. I'm skilled in one thing and that's what I do my whole life. That's the old way. The new way, and I think that oh man, I'm going off the rails already and I got to go because people are coming, but why do you think we have a rise in young people being diagnosed with ADHD? There are many factors to that. Like, first of all, we're testing more, so you're going to see more of it. But there's this whole generation coming in, being born into this world, who aren't going to just fit nicely in one categorical box. They are crossbreeders, and they're not going to settle for less. Thank God. So that's my prediction of the future. So get on board, and hooray us jack of all traders, multi-passionate people. It's finally a world we can live in comfortably. Oh, I can't wait to do a video about this. So anyway, what becomes less solid when I stop dividing experience into categories? My thinking becomes more fluid. It becomes less solid. I don't feel like I have to pin things down when I just let things exist, and I don't feel like I have to bucket things into categories. So I'm trying to think of a real life tangible experience, and I feel like I'm giving my own self permission these days to not divide experience into categories. First of all, I just naturally in my own life, I consume all kinds of information on I love everything. I can be curious and am curious about freaking everything, to the point where, how I'm like sports, whatever. And I even did a video kind of saying that, like, sports. I sat in the sauna the other day. Here's an update. We should have a little segment of each video called Sauna Talk or something, where I'm sharing what I chatted about in the sauna with these usually just to paint the picture. There's no judgment about this. Middle-aged white men. And here I am trying to like make conversation, and sometimes it's hard, sometimes it's easy. Well, I was able to talk sports with them the other day, yesterday. And I did it in a way that was authentic to me because I'm curious about like teams and how teams thrive and how they don't thrive and what are the elements of forming a good team. And so I was fascinated with how the freaking draft works in these sports, like football, baseball, like all the things. And I'm like, it doesn't work how I thought it would or should, given, not that I have a strong opinion, but I felt a strong opinion coming up for a change. And I was just like, that makes no sense how the draft works. That's dumb. And then I was like, okay. And then this is what I do. I'm like, oh wait, I see it from the other angle. I'm like, okay, I see some good things about it. So anyway, my thinking becomes more fluid when I stop dividing things into categories. Like when I can, like I was talking about earlier, crossbreeding, all these topics I am so passionate about learning about. I love learning about everything, and apparently even sports, certain aspects of sports. Competition, I'm a little like, about competition because I feel like it gets overemphasized. And that's why anything that gets overemphasized, I kind of like have an aversion to, because I'm like, we need to emphasize the other things. Like what else helps humanity, be good, to like propel us forward? Cooperation. It takes both though. It's not all one or the other. I feel, oh God, I'm going way off the rails. Will you please help me put a pin in each of these topics? Because I've really been noodling on this idea of like the both and of competition and cooperation. And it's fascinating to me. So we'll just put a pin in that one. I think this is what happens when I stop dividing experience into categories, is my brain's like, it sort of like ping pongs around things and is like, these things are all related. How do I talk about it? Because I can't talk about it as just one thing. There's so much overlap. There's the same truths in everything. And so when you see things as like fundamentally, it all points to the same stuff. All the same ingredients exist in all the categories of things. Then it's like, of course it becomes less solid. Everything's blended. Right? It's like I can see this element over there and this element over there. So it's like, I don't know where one thing stops and the other begins. And so that's what becomes less solid, is like perception. Really, this just points to like perception becomes less solid. Perception becomes like more like zoomed out, and you become more of a systems thinker when you stop dividing experience into categories. So I'm just have to stop myself. I gotta go. Bye.